29th, 2025. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Letitia Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Mary Waters.
Present.
Councilmember Angela Whitfield Callaway. Madam Chair, you have a quorum present.
Thank you. Having a quorum present, we are now in session. Good morning, Member Waters. Is there a motion on the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Hearing no objection, that action shall be taken. And Madam Clerk, if you will please note that Member Callaway has joined us.
Clerk will so note.
Thank you. We are going to move into general public comment. If there's anyone joining us here from the public who would like to speak, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak, whether joining us in person or virtually. I see 2 hands, 3 hands in the committee of the whole. And if you are joining us virtually, please raise your hand. Public comment will be cut off in 3 seconds. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. The collection of public comment has concluded. Good morning, Ms. Jackson. How many hands do we have raised virtually?
Morning, Madam Chair. There are 11 hands raised for virtual public comment.
Okay, thank you. If you can set the clock for 2 minutes, we will get started in the committee of the whole. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Mary Waters, for always showing up on this board multiple times out of the week. Y'all say what y'all want to say over the phone. Y'all are the reason why I will continue to show up. Love versus Benson et al., case number 25 CV 13105. The National Voter Registration Act of 1993 states that the Secretary of State, Janice Winfrey, Jocelyn Benson, and whoever else must maintain clean voter rolls. I, Melissa Love, never voted November 2020 or August 2024. And I am here to demand my name off the voter rolls and collect my share off the pie y'all been stealing from. I am here to demand justice. I will continue to stand for what's right and for what's mine and fear no evil while doing so. Last week, as I stated, y'all need to get a hold of these mental people. It could be your child, a close family member that's getting sexual harassed. It's bad when my 18-year-old comes home telling me a man exposed his private to her out in public. Also, please not forget, it's election time. All that cleaning y'all doing should have been done every spring, summer, and fall season in every district. Black communities of the city of Detroit, east to west, please wake up. We have no representation. We are forced to live in poverty, especially when it's more dispensaries than grocery stores. We will continue to live in poverty if we don't vote and speak up. All that nice stuff that's appealing to the eye around the city is called gentrification. Get hipped. Callaway, I am a proud voter and will continue to vote. I voted in the past presidential election and primary and looking to cast my vote this upcoming election. Thank you, Detroit, for cheating me and making me a force to be reckoned with, because I ain't letting up. Remember, God is a God of justice, and I love what God loves and hate what God hate. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Oh, all right, thank you. Next caller. Pardon me? Oh, yeah, here.
Is Ms. Johnson going to be back?
All right, go ahead. Please state your name.
Okay, my name is Darren McCluskey. I'd prefer to speak with Ms. Johnson.
Well, she'll be back, so you want to hold off for a while?
Yeah. Could I...
You can be the last one.
Okay.
Okay. Who else is next here?
Hello. My name is Zach Dobbenmeyer. I am a Wayne State student. I am here today to talk about Section 6.6. I think to provide an extension of time and increase of funds for real estate services and relocation assistance is quite a light way to put what Zausmer would do with this money. This is money that is being used to sue Detroiters and use eminent domain to take their properties and land to build solar panels. And at the current point, we're burning through about $50,000 per property to take property from Detroiters. If this gets passed, you better get used to passing more contracts. You're going to see another 2.5 million come up in a few months from now. All it takes is one case to get to the Court of Appeals, and you are going to see this again.
Madam Chair?
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair?
Member Calloway?
Sir, this is one council person who agrees with you 100%. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
14.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, he can hold off if he wants to.
I can speak.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm also here, Darren McCluskey is my name. I'm also here to speak about 6.6. Let's just lay this down. This project was represented as there's a $10 million windfall of found money from tearing down a power plant. Boom, $10 million. What do we do with it? Let's build solar farms in the neighborhoods. Sounds good. Let's give money to residents who are deserving of it, who stuck it out. That's good. Let's use eminent domain to take properties from people who don't want to sell or who are trying to get more money. So instead of negotiating with those people, you guys took a very hardline approach of using eminent domain on a questionable way, which I know that the report from Attorney Perkins has been reviewed and calls out a lot of the issues with what the city is doing here. And there's 150 lawsuits between the two phases that have been filed. That represented, before this increase, $33,000 per lawsuit. And you guys are using comps that make no sense to come up with the $2,500 and $3,500 valuations. Jay Rising mixed in more than half of the 9,300 parcels are side lot sales at $100 a piece to lower that value. And this is just the beginning. I mean, Zausmer's a great firm. I don't know that they deserve this kind of money, but there has been one attorney, Joanne Warwick, who you all know. She's been the only person fighting this. She is not equipped. She is not a large law firm. She has not even made it past a motion to review necessity. All it takes is one attorney getting an actual motion with an evidentiary hearing, and you could maybe argue that Zausmer is deserving of the original amount. But at 7.7 million, you guys are using 77% of the found money to tear down a power plant just on attorney fees alone. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Member Calloway?
to this young man, I'm the only council person that voted 100% against the solar farm initiative and against all of the eminent domain and all of these contracts. I am a no on 6.6. I am the only council person who was a no 100% against this solar farm and all of the eminent domain and all the contracts and all the law firms attached to it. I am the only council member who was a 100% no. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
and I agree
that.
with you too.
All right. Thank you, Member Calloway. All right. Is that in the, okay, let's go to our first virtual caller.
First caller is Owner Papa.
Who?
Owner Papa.
All
Good
right.
morning. Through the chair, Carolyn Hughes, may I be heard?
Oh, good morning. Yes, you may.
Good morning. Thank you, Miss Councilwoman Waters. You are a steady opponent for the other ones on the council. And yes, Councilwoman Calloway, you may vote against it, but you're ineffective because it still goes through. And as you say, we are constant complainers, but with the results that we are getting from the federal government, we're 3 times the amount of poverty than we had in 2017. We are second in the most violent cities, although we spend millions of dollars on CVI and policing. It's not effective. That's why I complain. I complain because there is much to complain about. If you don't see the condition of the residents as a problem, then I think you may be the problem. If you believe that we just call in here, we don't have anything else to do with our day, but call in and razz you. We don't call in for no reason. We call in because we got 30 seconds. You took more time doing photo ops than you allowed the citizens to address issues on the agenda. There lies the problem. You aren't listening to the citizens. You disrespect the citizens, not saying you personally. But those who give us 30 seconds to speak, it's unconscionable. We have a right to address what's on the agenda. If it's a long agenda, we actually should get more time because there are many things on the agendas that I see that I want to address, but I don't have time to address. And I am in agreement with 6.6. It's ridiculous. Also 6.4, taking homes from people for the Joe Louis Greenway. This is gentrification on steroids, and you all are sitting over it.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Next caller.
Next caller is iPhone.
Good morning. This is
morning.
Betty A. Barner, and I do agree. I do not like it when we're only given 30 seconds to speak. Whatever it is that we want to speak on, we should be able to express ourselves, and it takes longer than 30 seconds. I thank you for this time. Um, Today, I'm going to give out some information about a program that I've been blessed to find out about. For this particular program that I'm speaking about, they provide different services, but for this particular service, you need to have Medicare. You don't need to have Medicaid. They do have some programs that require Medicaid, but for this one, it's Medicare. It's called the University Home Care, and you would call a Mrs. Darwich, DARWICH, 313-558-9958. Again, 313-558-9958. And I'm helping someone get the word out. You would tell them that you were referred by a Miss Taylor. Again, Miss Taylor. And the flyer says, do you or your loved one want to remain at home? University Home Care Services provides the best professional care in Wayne, Macomb, and Oakland counties. Excellent home care solutions for patients who want to remain home while dealing with an injury or illness, specializing in memory care. All staff is background checked for patient safety, and they are fully insured. Call for a free nursing assessment. This program is operated by a nurse, and it also says they provide free home health aides to those who qualify. Please share this information to help people to be able to stay in their home and be at peace. Thank you.
Thank you. The next caller.
Next caller is Russ.
Russ, you have 2 minutes for general public comment. Good morning, Russ.
Comment. This is Russ Ballant. I disagree with the comment that was negative toward a member of this committee. I think this committee is composed of the most listening and thoughtful people on city council, and I'm glad I'm going to be able to raise a matter with you. I have concerns about this law firm contract that's paying them, as I understand, about $50,000 to per eviction that they are representing their clients to remove people from their homes and properties. And this is for another solar farm on the east side, northeast side that is, they've just been given an eviction notice to a family whose household has been owned by the same family for generations, and the lady of the house was born in that house. And there's other houses standing there, and the people don't want to leave, and we're paying a Farmington Hills law firm $50,000 per eviction. That makes absolutely no sense, and it sounds very corrupt. And so I hope that this contract is not approved. And if I am wrong in any of my facts, I would welcome being corrected. And I also hope that as we look at how much we've cleared so much residential land, the city council is always pushing for more housing, more housing. We need to start doing public housing and city land, build housing that it isn't subject to the vagaries of private owners, 5, 10 years down the road. And I know I've used my time. I am also very angry about the 30 seconds wasting our time.
Thank you. The next caller.
Next caller is Cunningham.
Cunningham, you have 2 minutes for general public comment. Good morning, Mr. Cunningham.
313-444-9114. 313-444-9114. 313-444-9114. That number was made so you can remember it. And on Facebook, Not Enemy. 2 words. On Facebook, Not Enemy. You'll see a picture. I'm not sure what's up on there now. But if you go to Not Enemy, you see the name Cunningham. That's me. So I got a holy handshake when I came into council. A young lady, she was been trying to catch me, she says, and she caught me and gave me $100 in the hand. I used to go to a church. We used to call those holy handshakes filled with some money in it. And so that allowed me to buy bus tickets, and that allowed me to take the time off to do this. No one pays me. No one it's from me in the heart. So that was greatly appreciated. That was a godsend. And she said, don't say her name, and I will not. But I thank her for that holy handshake. And for those folks that instead of using Uber and Lyft, they use me because they know the funds going through me is going to help others. The mayor is having a meeting tonight at Bethel AME Church from 7 to 8:30 p.m. I really don't like the fact that people can't verbally do public comment. They must do it in the chat at the mayor's meetings, but that is his prerogative. There's a lot of good qualities as well. My cash app is 313-444-9114. I'm out giving out bus tickets, ice water, gloves, hats. If anyone can help. And if you hate me, you don't have to do it vicariously through me. Do it yourself. And also, if anybody would like to help, they made flyers for me for this mayor meeting. 20 flyers, and I will be canvassing before the meeting.
Thank you. The next caller.
Next caller is Not That Karen.
Not that Karen, you have 2 minutes for general public comment.
Yes, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm in total agreement with Ms. Varner and Ms. Carolyn Hughes. 30 seconds is ridiculous. Even if you gave 60 seconds, that would be more acceptable, even though that's still short. But sometimes we just have to work longer. It wouldn't be that much longer, and it'd be paid. It means, no matter how many hours you work, you're going to make the same amount of money. So you may as well let people have their say when it's their time to have their say. The homelessness, it's getting cold outside. We need to work harder on getting these single parent households and with children off the streets and into shelter. I think instead of giving that $42 million to developers, it would be better spent giving it to homeowners so they could help secure their homes. Even a portion of that, or the retirees. Retirees are still out in the cold. We haven't gotten anything to help us ease the effects of the inflation since 2013. No cost of living, pension cuts, pension clawbacks. And the 13th check, we never got the 13th check. The police and fire got 13th checks, but the general service retirees, we didn't get any 13th check. And the 13th check was part of the reason that the pension fund became insolvent. So it's even ridiculous to dole that money out to certain people and not to everybody. And the people who got the 13th checks were not affected. Police and fire didn't take a cut. They only lost 1% of their cost of living. They continue to get cost of living. You put a divide between the different retirees when you do something for one side and you leave the other just hanging, by a thin rope. Thank you for your punctuality, and thank you for the graciousness of letting us have 2 minutes in public comment today. Thank you.
Thank you. The next caller.
The next caller is Miko A. Williams.
Miko A. Williams, you have 2 minutes for general public comment.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Good morning, yes.
Yes. Point of order, Councilman Johnson. Um, Public comment, to take a collection of public comments is supposed to be open for 2 minutes. So you could have held it till 10:05. What you did was too quick and people are still trying to get on. So if you can give us the courtesy, thank you for your prompt punctuality and timeliness. I very much appreciate this body of the standing committee of strong, wonderful, talented, knowledgeable women. But just next time, just so you know, and the rules of the laws do state that you got to give us at least about 3 minutes to collect public comments, and then you can cut off the collection of public comments. That's all. And I am in agreement with everyone in regards to the 30 seconds. What a national embarrassment yesterday that Always Late Councilmember James Tate Jr. did. It was very unacceptable. I mean, we have valid concerns that require 2 minutes. No matter how long the agenda was, that's your fault. That's the body fault because you can't get things processed on time and in a timely manner. It would have it wouldn't have not held you up that long to give everybody a minute. But that's council president's issue as well. And it'll be all raised and addressed. But the thing I wanted to say is that, you know, we all need to come together right now. It's going to get tight. Like Not That Karen says, it's getting cold out here. Families, it's been a struggle. We need to show love, empathy, and compassion more than ever. Right now, I'm just calling for everyone to stop the rhetoric, stop the division. After we get through with this election, we need to come together to love on our neighbors right now, be it they voted or not, because we got in this city. We got to have unity. Thank you for taking my comment.
Thank you. And Miko, just to let you know, public comment was cut off at 10:03. So when Zoom is up, anyone joining us virtually has the ability to raise their hand prior to me cutting off public comment. And the only reason I did it this morning that way is because I was doing multiple things. But certainly do hear you and appreciate you calling in. The next caller.
Next caller is Jadante Smith.
Jadante Smith, you have 2 minutes for general public comment.
Good afternoon. Good morning. My name is Jadante Smith. I want to say, so I have been looking at houses all over District 3, and I found a house at 17187 Cameron Street that is about to be torn down for the, I think, Greenfield Park solar array. Word from Malia Howard that the house is slated for demolition. So the house is slated for demolition today. This house is perfectly salvageable. It could have been moved somewhere else literally picked up. Houses can be picked up and moved. This house, we have a pervasive issue in the area, in this footprint, that we're going to do a solar array of homelessness. We're going to vote on $2.5 million to do $50,000 per house for eminent domain. There are two people who are holding out. One's name is Maria on Cameron, and the other people live right kitty corner to this 17187 property. And I'm going to make a stand today to not get this property torn down. Our housing is our last forefront, is our last frontier in the city of Detroit. We are losing everything. Mayor Mike Duggan has concessions with DTE, and we're going to be able to look at these solar arrays that we're not going to benefit from as residents. The homeless people are going to be able to look at these. Only thing they can do literally is touch the solar arrays. We're not going to be able to eat, drink, make any type of profit off of these solar arrays. The only people who profit are the city of Detroit government and DTE Energy. And so I feel like with these below zero temperatures, with these mothers with children who don't have adequate housing, we're tearing down our housing stock and we're trying to build affordable housing. We're trying to disenfranchise our residents, and we're trying to depopulate certain areas of the city of Detroit with these solar fields. I think that is very evil, and I'm going to take a stand. I'll also see you later, MAGA Money Mike, at your meeting at 7 p.m. But I think that what we're doing is very evil. And I want to say to James Tate, I apologize for using curse words, but I know my stuff is what I should have said to you. I know my stuff, and you know I know my stuff, and I come with facts and evidence. But I think we should vote no for this $2.5 million. I think that is a waste of funds.
Thank you. The next caller.
Next caller is Please Stop Massive Zoning.
Caller, you have 2 minutes for general public comment.
Good morning. May I be heard?
Good morning, yes.
Yeah, well, I agree with all the callers. I think stacking the agenda on purpose and giving only 30 seconds, that's not serving with integrity at all. Chicago, they get 3 minutes. This whole thing about let's build more housing, Detroit. I was laughing last night, although I really want to cry, because this administration has up until about now been about let's destroy more housing, Detroit. They were bulldozing good homes. Mike Duggan lied in April 2015 saying we're not demolishing homes that can be salvaged. The gentleman who just spoke told you there's houses that could be saved. Also, you all ignored when Charlie LaDuff came and told you about the dirty dirt Northland Mall being put into demolition holes. That's crazy. Now, regarding the zoning ordinances, at least Marcel Todd's not a First Amendment foe. He didn't run away from me like Mary Sheffield's chief of staff does all the time, even though I'm a D5 resident. But he said to me yesterday, and I thank all of you ladies for slowing that down, because if Member Callaway doesn't understand this, what about us? And she's got a bunch of staff to help her with it. What about Joe Resident, who's not an urban planner, like I think you were, Member Johnson? So you did serve with integrity yesterday. But I asked Marcel Todd, and he told me, I sent him an email, I didn't write me, but he said this would not take away people's right to go to the Bezier courts. We'll put that in writing, make sure we know about that. Also, what is 6.5? Please discuss what that agenda is. And this Zausmer law, anybody who voted for that, I don't know if the law department lets you know, but you voted for a black bottom taking. You voted for exactly what they did. They're literally basing the case on the in-ray slum clearance case of Black Bottom. So that it makes anyone who voted for that look really silly if you support the
Thank you. The next caller.
Our last caller is caller ending in 076.
Caller ending in 076. You have 2 minutes for general public comment.
Detroiters, people that's calling in to this phone, these are all symptoms. They are symptoms. It's been going on for years. Just listen to yourself. Listen to us. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, calling in for years with all these symptoms. What I'm telling y'all, and what the group I'm working with is telling y'all, the virus is they're cheated in. They would never do the right thing. Letitia Johnson, what are your opinions on voting using the county jail's address? Now, let me say this to you. It is just like voting overseas, but you have to use a Detroit address. If you move to Europe, you can't use a Europe address voting in Detroit. You have to use a Detroit address. This is when you go to the county, you have to use a Detroit address. So what do you have to say about voting from the county jail using the county jail address? Because you silent on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, you got all this to say. What law is backing what you're saying up? We have presented laws that you can't do that. Detroiters, the origin of all these problems is cheated in elected officials. Ain't none of them right on there. All y'all keep hearing is all these symptoms that's crushing us, decimating our communities. The virus is those elected people are cheated in. They never got voted in. The mayor, he don't want to talk to nobody because he knows the real thoughts about him and the real facts about what he's been doing. Wake up, join us.
Thank you so much. And I don't chair on Tuesday. I chair here on Wednesday. So when you bring up a question during IOS, I do my best to try to respond to it. I will certainly get the laws that I mentioned last Wednesday. And if you have anything specific that you'd like to share, I'd be happy to look into it. Our office number is 313-224-4841. Thank you so much. All right, that now concludes our general public comment, and we are going to return to the agenda, beginning with unfinished business and line item 5.1. Line item 5.1 is contract number 6006158-A2 100% risk management funding. Amendment number 2 to provide an extension of time and an increase of funds for legal services for litigation involving the MGM Grand Casino tax assessment disputes. Contractor Hodgson Russ LLP. Contract period through December 31st, 2026. Contract increase amount $100,000. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
Discussion. Attorney Anderson, can you provide an update, some additional information, why we are continuing to have to do this work and provide resources, additional resources for this law firm?
Yes, through the chair, Graham Anderson Law Department. This is currently in front of the tax tribunal. We are still hearing or waiting to hear from the judge's opinion, which we could then move to the next step. It's something that both sides have been anxiously awaiting to move forward. As I've stated in the past, this is dealing with tens of millions, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars at issue. This is a matter that's been going on for a long period of time. However, the scope of all the facts and everything that needs to be covered is quite massive. So in the grand scheme of things, 10 years sounds insane, I'm sure, to most people. You talk to most attorneys and you talk to them about everything that's going on in this matter, and they'll say, yeah, that sounds about right. It really doesn't shock the conscious. However, I understand the frustration, but this is something that is absolutely essential. The work is vital that's being done by this law firm.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions, comments, concerns? Is there a motion?
And I know what this
Member Waters
discussion, this litigation is about with MGM. Is it what? Yeah, the overassessments.
Correct. That's what they allege.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Madam Chair. After you.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm done.
Madam Chair.
Member Callaway?
Too bad the residents who've been overassessed $600 million don't have a law firm like this law firm that's representing the city, because they've been overassessed too, and their claims are similar. And too bad we are, they're being ignored. They're not being served. I don't know if they have the wherewithal to secure the kind of law firm that's needed to fight for themselves. But maybe in 2026, we can help them get some relief with the new administration, because they certainly need relief after being overtaxed $600 million. And it's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. And the people are still going to complain, those who were impacted, their loved ones who not with us or with us and living somewhere else. They have a claim too, just like MGM Grand, but they're not MGM Grand, so they don't have the same opportunities. But, you know, I'll keep hope alive that they get some relief moving forward. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
All right.
Member Waters?
And so I'll just further indicate, based on what my colleague from District 2 just said, that it's a little bit different for residents. See, the businesses can take their gripes initially right to the tax tribunal. Make sure that they appeal locally, and once they're denied locally, then they can take it. But most residents don't know that, so they end up missing out of an opportunity to do exactly that. And I think it becomes an educational thing for all of us, just like even now when they feel like their taxes are too high, when they receive those notices in the mail from the assessor's office. So they may or may not appeal locally, but you have to do that first, as you know, when it's residential property. So I just want to remind people to do that. And so with that, Madam Chair, move to approve.
Thank you. There's a motion to send line item 5.1 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 5.2 is a settlement request and lawsuit of Carolyn Taylor versus City of Detroit, case number 24-005796-NO. This is for the Department of Public Works in the amount of $25,000. Colleagues, there is a request for a one week bring back. Is there a motion?
Discussion?
Discussion?
Just discussion.
Member Callaway?
Even with that motion to bring it back in a week, is this the case where the individual was hurt on the sidewalk, sustained injuries on a sidewalk, or not?
Through the chair, correct.
Okay, and I had asked through the chair to you, Mr. Anderson, about a week ago, whether or not that sidewalk has since been repaired. And I was supposed to get a report back from DPW, and I think I had spoken to you about it. Do we know whether or not that sidewalk has been repaired?
Through the chair, it's my understanding we're still waiting on a response from DPW.
Okay, all right, thank you. So within the 1 week bring back, I'm hoping that DPW is listening or the administration is listening. We need to know whether or not that sidewalk has been properly repaired to avoid future injuries to pedestrians at that same location. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. There is a motion to bring line item 5.2 back in 1 week. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 5.3 is the status of Councilmember Letitia Johnson submitting memorandum relative to questions about impacts of proposed body cam ordinance. Colleagues, is there a motion to receive and file? Motion. There's a motion to receive and file, line item 5.3. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 5.4, status of Councilmember Gabriela Santiago Romero submitting memorandum relative to language access ordinance implementation update. There is a request for a 1 week bring back. There is a motion to bring line item 5.4 back in 1 week. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 5.5 is status of Councilmember Letitia Johnson submitting memorandum relative to questions regarding City Council's ability to revoke delegated authority for contracts subject to administrative approval. And without objection, I'd like to combine line item 5.5 with line item 5.6. Line item 5.6 is the July and August monthly report of contracts approved administratively. And colleagues, there is a request for yet another 1 week bring back.
Motion.
There's a motion to bring line items 5.5 and 5.6 back in 1 week. Hearing no objections, those actions shall be taken. That now brings us to new business. Beginning with line item 6.1. Line item 6.1 is contract number 287-0456-A13, 100% city funding, amendment number 13 to provide an extension of time for legal representation for post-bankruptcy restructuring and revitalization, charter commission, and other matters as requested. Contractor, Miller, Canfield, Paddock & Stone, PLLC. Contract period through December 31st, 2026. Contract increase amount $0. Total contract amount $12,950,522.56. Colleagues, is there a motion to approve or discuss?
Discuss.
Discussion, Member Calloway?
Through yourself to Attorney Anderson, when did we come out of bankruptcy? When did the city come out of bankruptcy?
Through the, excuse me, through the chair, I believe it was around 2014.
And now it's 2025.
Correct.
And this is a $13 million contract. The 13th Amendment, and I know there's not an increase in funding. I see that. When can we be done with this law firm on this issue? If we're all right out of bankruptcy, what are they working on? Are they, I've asked for reports. I've never gotten one. I've been asking for reports since 2022. Then I'll be going into my second term in January, and I'll be asking for the same report because this is going to come before us again. So I know it's being extended to 2026. Why the extension? And this is not risk management. This is city funding. These are taxpayer dollars, $13 million, which means this law firm has gotten over $1 million for the last 13 years. That's a lot of money. And if we are already post bankruptcy, why can't we close it out? Why can't we get beyond this law firm in this particular case? That's what I'm asking. Through the chair to you, Mr. Anderson.
Through the chair, although we are out of bankruptcy, the litigation still continues. And specifically in this case, Miller Canfield, they've been dealing with motions to address adjustments to specifically a lot of police officer pensions. And if you look to the next contract as well, it goes hand in hand here, not to get ahead of ourselves. But what the next contract does is they're court ordered for handling the distribution to the creditors. And that's essentially kind of the last tedious thing, to my understanding, that we're still dealing with here. There was over 3,900 proofs of claims filed against the city in the bankruptcy case. Of those, approximately 1,400 were classified as litigation claims, and the roughly 2,500 claims among them include trade claims, employee labor grievances, tax issues, a variety of different matters. So it's really a tedious game of whack-a-mole that we're trying to wrap up here. There's definitely an enthusiasm from all parties to finally close this up. But as you expressed, it's been a long time coming. So we're near the tail end of this. I'm happy to produce additional information to any other questions at play, but that's the long and the short of what we're dealing with here is still to finish out wrapping up all the different creditor claims and to finally be able to move forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Through the chair, why don't they come? I mean, I don't know what it'll, maybe in our next year, they should come before us, this law firm. Whoever's working, because you're not working on the case, they are, but you have become their spokesperson. I get it because you represent the law firm for the city, but Miller Canfield should come before us. They've gotten $13 million of taxpayer dollars. We deserve some type of report. We need to know exactly, not through you, through them, Madam Chair. When is this case going to be closed out? Where are they with closing it out? And the people, we the people, the taxpayers, deserve to know that answer. So I will be.
Motion.
I don't know if we'll be able to do it before recess.
But still, we'll have it in the queue.
So we would actually have to pick it up from the floor. So I think just certainly I would jot it down so that next term that can be a discussion. I'm assuming it'll have to be perhaps a closed session to have that discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wouldn't vote for it to be in closed session because we're talking about taxpayer dollars. We're trying to close it out, and the people want to know. The people in my area, we want to know. We absolutely want to know. It's nothing private about it. It's a public matter. Yeah. It was a public, wasn't a private bankruptcy. It was a public bankruptcy for a city, and now we're using public dollars, 100%, $13 million. To this law firm. So you can make that motion about a closed session, but I wouldn't support that. I want everything out in the open for the people to know. We just want to know, through the chair to you, Mr. Anderson, through, we need to have that, Madam Chair, and to my colleague, Member Waters, they need to come before us. And I wouldn't want them to do it in closed session. That might be the vote of of this body. But certainly, this has been a long time coming, and it should be over by now. We have moved on. This city has moved on from bankruptcy as best we can. And we should not, because in a minute, what they're going to do is it says no increase, just increase in time. But I guarantee you, in 2026, they're going to be asking for more money. Miller Canfield has gotten $13 million of our taxpayer dollars, and that's a lot of money. And we've been out of bankruptcy for almost a decade now. We've been out of bankruptcy, so I don't know why we're still talking about this. But Madam Chair, I don't have a motion. I just hope that we will have them before us. Maybe Member Waters might have a motion, but they need to come before us through the chair to Mr. Anderson. They need to come before us.
Attorney Anderson.
Through the chair, I'm in agreement with Member Callaway. I don't think a closed session would be necessary. I'm confident there would be enough information that's available to the public that we could have an illuminating conversation that would be educational, not just to this committee, but to the public as a whole. But I'm confident Miller Canfield, we could bring together a presentation to put that together, because you are right. This is it's significant. This was the largest city in American history to declare for bankruptcy, and a lot of people don't know what that means. And it is not an easy thing to describe linearly, but it is something that I think would be valuable to the public. So I'm happy to liaison that conversation. But if it's the will of this body, if that's something we want to, I know this committee has a very tight schedule for the remainder of the year. If it's possible to get it done in that time, I'm happy to do my best to arrange that. But if not, I think that's something I'm confident we could put together into 2026.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Anderson. I wasn't suggesting a closed session, but I thought there would be litigation that would be discussed that would preclude us from having the conversation during an actual public discussion. So, and I don't anticipate that I will be the chair of internal operations next year, and so I'm not necessarily certain who will, but I'm just suggesting that someone just kind of line item it, and just to make sure the conversation doesn't get lost next year. Member Waters.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to do. Yes. I want to go ahead and make the motion to line item it, and they can come before this body maybe mid-January. At least, they're already would have been notified. They can start preparing now to come before this body in mid-January. So that is my motion, Madam Chair.
Attorney Anderson.
Through the chair, that to Councilmember Johnson's point, yes, procedurally that would not survive into the new legislative term. Wow. However, unless something surprising happens, I plan on being here in January. My boss is behind me, though, so he might know better than me. But that said, I'm happy to begin that conversation with Miller Canfield and target a date in January or February, whatever works best for this body, to present a presentation on here is what happened in the bankruptcy, here's the progress we have made, we are close at the tail end here, but here's the variety of matters that we can express. That way the public can know that the $13 million that Miller Canfield received over 10 years was well worth it and money well spent for the protection of the citizens. But I'm happy to put that together, but as I stated,
then my motion would be that you go ahead and start doing that. How about that?
I can do that. Thank you, Councilmember Waters.
Yeah, thank you, Attorney Anderson. That's what I was just trying to say. Sure, he can certainly start to have the conversation on the day. Yeah, because I think it would have to be introduced again in the new year. All right, Attorney Anderson, that motion has been made and approved. All right, colleagues. Is there a motion on line item 6.1?
Okay.
There's a motion to send line item 6.1 to formal with the recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.2, contract number 6001570-A4, 100% city funding, amendment number 4, to provide an extension of time only for various legal services, including noticing, claims management and reconciliation, plan solicitation, balloting, disbursement, and computer software support. Contractor Kurtzman Carson Consultants, LLC. Contract period through December 31st, 2026. Contract increase amount $0. Total contract amount $600,000. Colleagues, is there a motion to approve or discuss?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.2 to formal with recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.3 is contract number 6003505-A6, 100% city funding, amendment number 6, to provide an extension of time and an increase of funds to continue litigation services for reverse conviction lawsuits. Contractor Nathan N. Kamiansky, LLP. Contract period through December 31st, 2026. Contract increase amount $2,800,000. Total contract amount $11,550,000. Is there a motion to approve or discuss? Discussion, Member Calloway.
Thank you so much. I see Corporation Counsel here. How many more cases do we have, through the chair to you, Mr. Anderson? How many more cases are we that are pending? And are we expecting additional ones to the ones that are already pending? I asked for this report before and I never got anything. How many are pending? How many have we already, through the chair to you, Mr. Anderson, settled? Where are we with these reverse convictions?
Yes, through the chair to Councilmember Callaway, to start by answering your last question, how many more do we anticipate? That's tough to predict. It's tough to say. As you know, these are matters that arise from decades ago, potentially. So it's very difficult to read the tea leaves, so to speak, and anticipate we're going to see this many more potential cases. That said, the current number that Nathan is handling is 1, 2, 3. I count 15 cases currently that they are handling. I reached out already to get an updated list, not so much what's new cases, but what's been unfolding with those matters. I know that would be of great interest to this body, what motion practice or any other type of discovery, what have you, that has been made recently for this body. So I would request a 2-week bring back on this matter to get that information so I can present it to this body, of course, in private, as we can't discuss all of that on the record. Thank you.
Through yourself, through the chair to you, Mr. Anderson, I have a quick question. This is almost $12 million to this law firm, and I know this is important work. I know about the reverse convictions. Are we in touch with the prosecutor's office to know whether or not there are more that are coming, some that they're working on? Can we have that conversation with the prosecutor's office so we'll know whether or not we can anticipate more? Because they know what they're working on. Are we in touch with them about additional reverse conviction cases? Through the chair to
Madam Chairperson, through the chair to Councilperson Callaway, dealing with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, their Conviction Integrity Unit, they have an extraordinarily adversarial relationship with the city of Detroit. They tend not to want to share with us work in progress. And in fact, as the council person may be aware, we've had to go to court on numerous occasions to show cause them, to get them to share with us their file so that we can understand the basis of the recommendation that they made in the first place to reverse the conviction. We don't know, Councilperson, what they are working on. They shield that information from us very, very, very assiduously. What I will say, and have said to this body before, we are entering, as Attorney Anderson indicated, we're entering those decades, the late 80s, the early 90s, where there was behavior evidenced allegedly by the Detroit Police Department, where witnesses were being held on the 13th floor of 1300 or the 9th floor of 1300. Those were difficult times for the city of Detroit. I'll say that publicly. And so, Councilperson, I would expect that I would be before this body next year, fighting diligently against these reverse conviction cases, but I would expect that more are coming.
Okay, well, I'd like, through the chair, I don't know if you can answer this now, maybe, I don't know who to ask this question of how much have we paid out? Because these settlements have been huge and probably not huge enough, knowing some people have spent a couple decades in jail unlawfully and unjustly, according to how things have panned out for those folks who were convicted. Do we know how much we've paid out already in lawsuit? Because I know they come here first. They come here to this body. Do we have an idea of how much we paid out? I mean, if you can't answer it today, maybe, in the future, but I would like to know because it's been a lot.
Yes, ma'am, it has been a lot.
Knowing that people have been in jail for half their lives for something they didn't do. So I get it. You can't put a price tag on that, but just because this is city funding and, people have a right to know.
Yes, ma'am. Attorney Anderson will get that information for you. That is a matter of public record, as you well know, and we'll share that with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Colleagues, is there a motion on line item 6.3? Motion. There's a motion to send line item 6.3 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.4, contract number 6003765-A4, 100% city funding, amendment number 4, to provide an extension of time only for legal services as needed for acquisition and title clearance issues associated with real estate involved in the Joe Louis Greenway project. Contractor Lewis and Monday, PC, contract period through December 31st, 2026. Contract increase amount $0. Total contract $300,000. Colleagues, is there a motion to approve or discuss? There's a motion to send line item 6.4 to formal with the recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.5, contract number 6005591. A2, 100% city funding, amendment number 2, to provide an extension of time only for legal advice regarding the development of clean energy and energy efficiency. Contractor Riven Oak Law Group, PC, contract period through December 31st, 2026. Total or increase is $0. Total contract amount $200,000. Colleagues, is there a motion to discuss?
Motion, Madam Chair.
Discussion. To the law department, can you all just explain to us what this contract is for?
Through the chair, yes, ma'am. Riven Oak Law Firm, in the personage of Valerie Brader, is an expert in dealing with the legal issues associated with public utilities, most particularly those agencies, those entities that are under the jurisdiction of the Michigan Public Service Commission. Valerie has been invaluable in helping us shape our solar program as it relates to all of the various documentation that's been presented to this council, most particularly the DTE contract, the Lightstar contract, as well as the resolution of necessity. She also provides support to us for our sustainability work and for the EV charging program that we have here in the city of Detroit. She is a one of a very small group of experts in this area and has been a member of our sustainability team almost since its inception.
Thank you for that. Colleagues, without objection, I'd like to combine line item 6.5 and 6.6. Line item 6.6 is contract number 6005617-A3, 100% city funding. Amendment number 3 to provide an extension of time and an increase of funds for real estate services and relocation assistance. Contractor Zausmer PC. Contract period through June 30th, 2026. Contract increase amount $2,500,000. Total contract amount $7,700,000. And if we can ask for you all to join us here at the table. Please introduce yourself for the record.
Yes, good morning. Through the chair, I'm Tricia Stein, Chief Strategy Officer for Mayor Duggan.
Morning.
Good morning, Conrad Mallett, Corporation Counsel, City of Detroit.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being here. Please give us an update on the solar arrays and what's happening with this particular contract with Zausmer.
Through the chair. Let me start from a wide frame, and then Corporation Counsel can talk through the legalities. In phase 1, those are the 3 areas, Gratiot Finley, State Fair, and Van Dyke Lynch. We have acquired all parcels, which this legal contract that you just brought up has been responsible for. We are working through just compensation of a number of parcels. We have been able to reach a settlement with Michael Kelly, which had the bulk of the parcels that were needed. So we are working through that. We also have some deed restrictions that we can discuss, because I do know there have been some questions to your offices about those. That is just for the expansion of the deed that folks hold for the platted areas around the solar arrays to include solar, because there is some pretty restrictive deed language just for single-family housing. So we've added solar there, and if for folks who sign voluntarily, they get $100. And so we are working through that and reaching out to homeowners, and we have started on that and have about 10% completed to date. For phase 2, that's Houston, Whittier, and Greenfield Park, we're about 80% done with the parcels. Acquisition, we are on track to finish that by the end of the year, and also work through just compensation and making sure that folks get fair market value and relocation services. We have on both phase 1 and phase 2 relocated everyone but 2 residents. One will move at the end of this week, that's from the Greenfield Park area, and another will move in 2 weeks' time. So we have been doing the wraparound relocation services, helping folks meet their requisite needs for housing and relocating those homeowners. Additionally, the deed restrictions are also happening for phase 2, and we're just starting on those. Again, that's a wider area around the areas that we need the deed restrictions to be amended. That's from a legal update. I'm going to let Corporation Counsel talk a little bit more specifically, and I certainly can answer any questions about additional work that's being happened in the solar areas.
Thank you.
Madam Chairperson, Councilperson Waters, I just want to kind of take you back to understand the complexity of the project that we undertook with your permission. When Mrs. Stein says that we acquired 965 parcels, 245 of which were privately owned, that is, each one of those were negotiated. You just didn't walk in and say, I'm going to buy your property. Here is our offer, and the transaction takes 15 minutes. These are numerous conversations going back and forth, number one. Number two, in those instances, as we promised Councilperson Waters, that we would not condemn any person who was in their property privately owned, and absolutely, we worked very, very diligently to be sure that was not the case. We successfully moved 38 people into new housing, the lion's share of which, meeting the expectation of Council President Pro Tem Tate, persons moved to houses in the city of Detroit. Again, this is a very intense case management process overseen by the Zausmer Group. We supervised the 200 private acquisitions. We filed 104 condemnation cases, and I know that the council persons present really have endured through the process of public comment. The longer the project was out there, the more intense the opposition came to be. And so we had to file 104 condemnation cases to acquire the vacant lots, and we had 5 condemnation appeals where we had to go to court and actually endure a trial on the condemnations. 5 trials, not 1, not 2, 5. We litigated 35 just compensation challenges, 13 of which remain in litigation, with trials proceeding into 2026 if necessary. Frankly, what we hope is that the judge will dismiss the cases. They have to go to trial, but we believe that the foundation that we have set with the courts will be able to make the decision without a trial. We had to anticipate litigating 20 of these just compensation cases against Michael Kelly, and as Mr. Steins indicated, we finally were able to settle with him and get those cases resolved. The process of lifting the deed restrictions, 900 adjacent parcels. Clearly, it seems exceedingly bureaucratic, but you've got to prepare the documentation, you've got to present it in court, and the judge has to make a decision. It's a process, it's formalistic, but that's what the law requires. We filed 3 condemnation cases to clean up any title problems that might have existed, and that's where we had the services. And I want to thank the council members present for voting to extend the Melvin Jefferson contract. We had probate issues associated with family members owning the property, who could sign, who had to sign, and we had to work through those. In phase 2, we're in the process of acquiring 430 properties, including 104 that are privately owned. As Mr. Stein indicated, we've got 7 of 9 persons who have been successfully relocated, 2 remaining, and we continue to have presented numerous condemnation necessity actions that we have to defend. They are not, we think, potentially disruptive in terms of the process of the projects going forward, but they have to be defended. The lawyers on the other side, no matter what you may think of them, have done a good job of presenting their case in court, and we've had to defend. We've won these cases. We expect to continue to win these cases, but nevertheless, these are active lawsuits that have to be defended. We've litigated to date, or Zausmer has litigated to date, 24 compensation cases, and as we've indicated in the phase 2 lot, we also were able to settle 18 properties that were owned by Michael Kelly. So there's a tremendous amount of work to get to what we think is the appropriate end result. The solar fields, and I'm sure that some members are aware, and I think some members were present at the opening of Van Dyke Lynch. Process goes forward. I, like you, am surprised at how long it has taken. Perhaps unlike you, I remain surprised at the vigorous opposition to what seems to me then and now remains an extremely good idea, both from an urban design standpoint and from an environmental management standpoint as well. So with that, Madam Chairperson, Councilperson Waters, I can take any questions.
Member Waters.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Of course, my first concern are the owner-occupied properties. Mm-hmm. How many of those were there? And then, are there any that were subjected to eminent domain? Do we have any owners, residents living in those properties who says, I don't want to sell, but then we force them to do so? I'm talking owner-occupied. That's the first part.
Through the chair, yeah, I'll take that one first. There were 36 total. These were PREs or owner-occupied that were in Phase 1 and Phase 2, 36 total. All of them were voluntary sold. That was the mayor's commitment, as we were only going to areas where there was 100% of participation and the owner occupant. And then on average, because I do know that you generally ask me the next question, on average, that sale price was just a little over $100,000. So we were able to do fair market value and double that. It was a minimum of $90,000 that the mayor had set out, and so we did assessments of them and then doubled fair market value, and all of them have closed. And then, as I said, 2 are remaining and will be moved out in the next 2 weeks.
All right. Well, that's good to hear that you didn't take any of those owner-occupied properties via eminent domain.
No, ma'am.
Member Waters, a point of clarification, is that Phase 1?
It's all
Phase
through the
2.
chair. All of Phase 1 and Phase 2 is 36. These, again, are the owner-occupied homes.
PREs.
Okay. May I
can
ask a quick question? Can you share information relative to occupied? So they may have been rental properties, but occupied properties.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
I first, Madam Chair, wanted to address the owner-occupied, the PREs. Then I was going to come to the rental piece, and which
Okay, Member Waters has the floor.
Which gets to be a little bit more tricky, because I want to know how many of those were LLCs as well. You know, I've got this thing about these LLCs. So, are you able to provide a list? See, I'm going to be looking for a detailed list of property ownership and occupancy. If you are able to provide each of us such a list. So, of those rental properties, how many of those were LLCs? I mean, folks living in Timbuktu and so forth. Do you know?
Through the chair, let me take the questions in the order that came. Well, no, in reverse order. I'm sorry. I do not know the LLCs off the top of my head, but we do have that information, and I will send that to you. I'll send it to everybody's office. That will not be a problem because we do maintain that. I just don't have that at my fingertips. Then I think your first question was how many were occupied. There were 22 privately owned that were occupied. I'm going Phase 1 and Phase 2 now. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And so there were 22. And all of those have closed. We did fair market value. On average, it was $60,000 for a private-owned occupied. Again, there were variations of that. I do know your chairwoman's going to ask me about one in particular, so I've got that number. But on average, it was $60,000, and all of those tenants have been relocated through our relocation services and are getting 18 months of rent.
Oh, okay. So, all right. The people who own the properties, who are they? And just generically.
Through the chair, it was a variety of folks. There were certainly individuals or LLCs that owned multiple properties. And as Corporation Counsel Mallett says, we are still in litigation with a few for just compensation. That was a mix of structures and vacant lots. But for the most part, they were, landlords. And then we were able to come to a fair market value. The private-owned vacant houses, on average, it were $40,000 that we paid.
And so I'll say this, Madam Chair. So how do you respond to members of the community saying that you've been using eminent domain to, throw people out of their homes, and people did not want to leave? I mean, how do you respond to the community? Because things get going and all kinds of things people believe. How do you respond to them?
So, through the chair, Councilperson Waters, now Mrs. Stein and I both sat here with you, and made the commitment that any owner-occupied home would only be a voluntary transaction.
Right.
We said that for those persons who were renting, we would approach them and give them, as we indicated, 18 months free rent. Those persons who were landlords, they got fair market value. In some of those instances, the owners resisted, believing that they were either entitled to more or did not want to give up their property. But those were businesses. And my colleague is being very diplomatic. Most of the properties were owned by persons who were multiple property owners. That is, they owned more than one of these rental properties. And so they were in the business of renting homes. And so this was a straight-up business transaction. Now, there were people in the community, multiple property owners, who did not believe that their house was fairly assessed, or that their properties were fairly assessed. They went to court, as is their right, and we are having, with the judge, a discussion about fair market value. There has been misinformation put out that says, well, they're taking my property. And people forget all of the various permutations that we just described based on commitments made to this body about who is going to be treated how. So with those persons who were in the business of renting homes, they are entitled to just compensation. They are entitled to go to court if they think the amount that we've offered is not fair. They're entitled to offer up an alternative assessment in terms of the value, and the judge will make the decision. And in most instances, we've been able to get cooperation. The tenants, and we've been very, very diligent about providing the tenants very good relocation services. And, when you put the carrot out there that if you move voluntarily, you're going to get 18 months free rent, that's a very powerful incentive. As this program was constructed by the mayor and this council, it was designed to be as resident-friendly as we could possibly make it. When it came to the business, the people, to the multiple property owners, and I won't call out their names, but you know them as well as I do.
Why don't you just call them out? I didn't want to know.
Well, we've mentioned Mike Kelly twice. I mean, Tricia Stein and I were in 2 days of negotiation with Michael Kelly and his lawyers over an amount finally that we settled upon to get the properties that he held that were slowing up the process in terms of the progress that we had hoped to make by now. So nevertheless, I mean, the bottom line is that everybody's been treated fairly. Everybody's been treated according to the law. It has turned out to be an expensive proposition, no question about that. You know, you've heard this 1,000 times. I think I've said it at this table more than once. No good deed goes unpunished. I continue to believe that this is one of the most progressive ideas that the council could ever put forward, and people still resist.
How many? Anyway, I'm going to be requesting a list of a detailed list of those properties. I don't know how long it's going to take you guys to put such a list together. But since you are here, Corp Counsel, I want to ask you, because I have reached out to the state legislature to ask that they craft a law, we pass a law to force these LLCs, after they purchase a certain number of properties, we don't want them to be able to hide behind those LLCs. And I think a letter of support or something, or a request coming from you to the Michigan legislature would help out.
I'll sign it tomorrow.
Great. Okay.
I'll get you something today.
Yes, please, because it is crazy, you know, what the assessor's office, the board of review, and even the law department has to go through because of all of these LLCs, people hiding behind them, and I don't think that's right, and I think we've got to get a handle on it.
I'm in enthusiastic full support.
Okay.
And through the chair, to your first point, the list will be to you, all of you, by the end of the day.
Oh, by the end of the day?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. All right. So it would be a detailed list of property ownership and occupancy.
But owned by LLCs?
Well, any of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And since I hate these LLCs, yes, I want to see those.
We'll put them at the top, man. Through the chair. Through the chair.
You all set, Member Waters?
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Thank you. And can you add how much we've provided for the properties? I'm interested in knowing. So one of my challenges going through this entire process was the speculators that we have in this city and them continuing to benefit from development and projects that the city brings online because they own so much land and property throughout the city. So I'm really interested in knowing how much the individual properties received, and if you can share how much the renter received as well. So I do want to ask a question about that. So I understand the resources that we provided to the renter. For the owner of that property, did they receive fair market value?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Can either of you share the notice process? Because I've actually had people reach out to me and they've gotten the notice and they say, this is the first time I've heard of this. But I know the process has been going on for a length of time. I'm not sure if they're in phase 1 or phase 2, but what is the notification that's provided to the household?
Through the chair, I think that you mean the deed restriction, but we'll talk about it all. But I know that your office and a few other offices have called us in the last few months about deed restrictions and that notification. So I'm going to take that one first,
Okay.
and then we can zoom out and Corporation Counsel can talk about it in general, how the other. But the deed restriction certainly, and there have been people that have come to City Council, and I've come up at your request and others to discuss the deed restriction notification. And I have said this on the record. The first letter was not our best messaging. So we redid that and tried to do clarification and a fact sheet. I did bring a copy with me today, and we did send that to City Council, and I can do that again to explain what the deed restrictions were. Again, that's that larger platted area around the solar. And then we had the Department of Neighborhoods go out because we did hear that it was we needed to spend more time and explain. So we did have door knocking knocking and communication happen through the spring and the summer, and then set up a dedicated line for folks who received this notification to understand what it was about. And again, that's the $100 if they voluntarily sign, to include the deed restriction that allows for solar. We also are going through the court proceedings and then folks can still negotiate and get themselves out of that and get the $100. So that process is ongoing. We are doing outreach and have a dedicated line and trying to reach homeowners and explain to them what that process is. That's the one that I've heard the most about. That's why I wanted to deal with that one first, because there is some confusion that, I live blocks or a quarter mile away from solar. Why am I getting notification? And that again is 80 to 100 years ago, when the city was platted as subdivisions, that we had to take everyone within those platted areas that include the solar.
Madam Chair, in general, with the condemnation process, it's almost the reverse that Ms. Stein described. We started out with the neighborhood people going out and knocking on the doors, having community meetings, making sure that people wanted to, in fact, first of all, be a part of the process, then submit their applications, so on and so forth. Then we went to each individual house and had each of them sign a letter of intent, so that all of those persons, the PREs, were absolutely volunteering that they were going to sell their property. So they signed a letter of intent. Then we went back with to get their permission to come do the assessment. We did the drive-by. Some of the homeowners said, listen, I just did my kitchen. I want you to come in and see that. So we went in, and in many of the instances, there was an actual inside physical home inspection. So the PREs had tremendous interaction with the legal team and with the community support team that was in place to be sure that we could get to the exact place that the PREs wanted to be based on their assessment of the value of their particular home. So notice in the very beginning of the process, both for phase 1 and phase 2, was extremely, extremely vigorous. It was case management like in terms of its intensity. Then for the vacant lots and for the rental properties, for those renters, they were also personally contacted, and the neighborhood services people went in first, then the relocation people went in second. The landlord was notified by letter, and in most instances, contacts from the landlord back to the Zausmer firm by their lawyer was made, and the transaction was complete. So no one was a part of the process without intense notification. And in a couple of instances where we actually had to do service of process, that was done in person, not just by mail, and we had to do it when we couldn't find the person. It was a certified letter. It was posted on the door. So one of the easiest ways to resist any kind of legal action is to be able to prove that you were not properly notified. This body is well aware of the fact that the city of Detroit sometimes does not do a good job. In this instance, it was imperative that this process be very, very, very well documented. So we are where we are as it relates to the deed restrictions that Mrs. Stein has discussed, but the actual condemnation process, the relocation process, the purchase process, all of that was very, very well noticed.
I appreciate that. Can either one of you speak to what happens if someone owns a lot, and I think a lot of people perhaps may not have an address other than the lot itself for notification. If someone owned a lot and they never responded to anything that was provided to the owner of the lot. Talk to me about what takes place there.
So, as this body knows, Madam Chairperson, Councilperson Waters, we have a thing here in the city called CLEAR, which is a data service that we have through Thomson Reuters, and so we're not delivering notification to a vacant lot. We are going directly getting the address of the lot and working through the state of Michigan process to identify who is the owner of that lot and identifying an address, or if not for the owner, at least for their registered agent. It's not legal notification simply to make delivery to a vacant lot. Just by virtue of the fact that it's a vacant lot, the person there is not in fact going to receive. There's no mail coming. There's no there in terms of a notification process. So it's not going to be delivered to the lot. We're going to find the owner. And if we can't find the owner, then we go to court, Madam Chairperson, and we ask the court to allow us for alternative service, which means that we end up sending a certified letter to the last known address. And that's with the court's permission. That's not just something that we make up on our own. We acknowledge to the court, we can't find this person. The judge then has to give us permission to do alternative service so that the court is clear that notice at least has been vigorously attempted.
And Corporation Counsel, in that instance, the court could award the land to the city without the city compensating the owner?
No. The vacant lot owner, as soon as that person makes themselves evident, is entitled to the just compensation. We're not getting it for free. That's not how this, and
Okay.
as you know, Madam Chairperson, that's a rhetorical question. That's not how this works.
Thank you. Another situation that I just kind of want to talk about in general, we know that probate tends to be an issue in the city of Detroit across the board, whether you're talking about this, going through this process or not. How did you handle a situation for essentially someone who inherited a property, however, never went through probate to change ownership for that property?
So, Madam Chairperson, that's why we had Melvin Jefferson. Melvin Jefferson has been doing probate work in this town for 40 years. We made him available, I think, to at least 10 people. And he took them through the process to get the deed in the hands of the judge-determined rightful heir so that the property could be sold to the judge-determined person who the judge determined was the actual inheritor of the property. We went to the nth degree, and again, I appreciate the council's approval of Mr. Jefferson's contract, as we expect we're going to need to provide that kind of service and support during phase 2.
And thank you for that. And so without objection, I'd like to also combine line item 6.7 to our discussion because that is the contract.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry. I thought that got approved.
That is contract number 6005854-A3. It is 100% city funding.
Oh, that's Mr. Joe. Okay.
Amendment 3 to provide an extension of time only for probate law assistance. Contractor Melvin Jefferson Jr., PC. Contract period would be through December 31st, 2026. I do have a couple more questions. As you all have gone through this process, have any of the boundaries changed for the solar array?
Through the chair, not since city council approved. Now, at last summer or the winter when we were doing phase 1, phase 2, through discussions, through conversations while we were here at city council, we met people where they were, if they wanted to be included or not included. We worked on the boundaries up until city council approved the contracts and the resolutions necessities. There have been no changes since city council approval, ma'am.
Thank you. And lastly, specifically, can you speak to the need for the increase in the Zausmer contract? What specifically is this for?
So it is for the remaining 20 just compensation cases that we have in front of us, and for the remaining work that we have in phase 2, including the acquisition of the 430 parcels, the deed restriction activity that is being engaged in now. We have filed there are 48 condemnation cases that have been filed to acquire private properties, and we are defending multiple necessity challenges based on phase 2 as well.
Thank you for that. And my final question for sure is, have we stayed within the budget that was originally provided to City Council for this entire
Thank you for
project?
that question, Madam Chair. I meant to say that in my opening statement, and you know I'm not loosey-goosey when it comes to money. Thank you for bringing that up so I can get this on the record. Yes, ma'am. So the utility conversion fund, which is what we identified was the funding, is the budget that we are living within for pre-construction, relocation, real estate, and demolition. And we are living within that allocated dollars. Also, we have purchased the equity fund properties, and we have relocated all of them. Those are the individuals that were in areas that were not selected but had wanted to move, PREs, again, volunteer acquisitions. And so we are in the process of selling them, or and we've assessed most of them will be sold. Those proceeds will come in. So we are making sure that we stay within that allotted funding that was set aside for the utility conversion, or proceeds that will be garnered from the sales.
Thank you so much. Anything additional, Member Waters?
No, Madam Chair, I'd just like to at least put my motion out there. I did request, she said she's going to get it to us by the end of the day, the detailed list of properties, ownership, and those and occupancy, so we're talking owners and we're talking renters.
Yes, ma'am.
And since you mentioned boundaries, I'd like to add that to there, because I don't think, I just want to see the boundaries again. You said you didn't change the boundaries since we approved it, but I don't think we had a copy of that.
Yeah, through the chair, it won't be a problem. They're also, so it's public available, so I'll add the approved maps that were done by City Council at the time. I'll include that as well, to be clear what we're talking about.
Thank you.
All right, and
So
last,
that's my motion, Madam
there's a
Chair.
motion for Ms. Stein to deliver everything about the solar arrays.
That is exactly what my notes say, Madam Chair.
All about solar.
Hearing no objection, that action shall be taken. And I do just want to say that I have some residents in Gratiot Finley who are over the moon, enthusiastic about the solar array and the support that has been provided for home repair, home improvements. I want to say thank you for walking, I know it's not just you, but you and the team for walking residents through the process of home repair and identifying all programs that they could apply for and walking them through that process to assist them in improving their homes. So many of them feel like they have a new home now. So thank you for going through that process with them.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Madam Chair. Yeah, and I want to say thanks too, especially when it comes to the owner-occupied, the PREs, because I'm pretty sure many of them are probably from our aging population. I just bet, and so that was a unique opportunity for them.
For them to relocate and get some funding. Yes, ma'am, through the chair.
Took care of them, so thank you so much.
All right. If there is nothing else, Member Waters, is there a motion on line items 6.5, 6.6, and 6.7?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line items 6.5 through 6.7 to formal with the recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, those actions shall be taken. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us now to line item 6.8. Line item 6.8 is submitting resolution authorization for the city council recess on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Tuesday, November 11th, 2025, which is Veterans Day, and Wednesday, November 26th, 2025 through Monday, January 5th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve or discuss?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.8 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.9. Line item 6.9 is contract number 6005384-A3, 100% ARPA funding, amendment number 3 to provide an extension of time only for installation of fiber cable between Detroit Public Safety Headquarters and the Linden Data Center. Contractor 5 Star Energy Services, LLC. Contract period through March 31st, 2026. Contract increase amount $0. Total contract amount $1,582,366.80.
Motion to approve with discussion.
There's a motion to approve line item 6.9 with discussion. Member Waters.
All right. I just want to know, Madam Chair, when is this going to be completed? You know, I want to see fiber cable throughout the city, in fact. But when is this going to be completed? Because now the contract goes through March 31st, 2026. I believe we have some people here from Do It.
I see Mr. Millender here. Good morning. Please introduce yourself for the record.
Robert Millen, Director of Public Safety IT. Through the chair, to respond to Member Waters' questions, this should be complete. Honestly, the fiber's in. Right now, we're working on determination and testing. So the goal is to have this completed before the end of the year, no later than January of 2026.
All right. Well, that sounds good to me.
All right.
And what are your plans for fiber cable in other parts of the city?
We're still working on that. I mean, that's a broader plan than this. This
Yeah.
is specific for the communication between our data center.
Right.
We're going to have to sit down and talk about a more broader plan than that, and that takes a lot more time than that. So that's
And
the plan
money.
we're having in getting that one. We're really being very specific and to get this fiber in to help us fiber infrastructure. But that plan for fiber around the city takes coordination not only with the city, but other entities around the city, see how we can get that in participation, because it's very expensive, one thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a quick question. So the data center is essentially just house all of the data that the city of Detroit uses?
Through the chair, that's correct. That doesn't house all of it, because we do have cloud services that house some of our data. But all the communications to those cloud services go to our data centers, and we have 2 of them. I won't really give out the locations, but we have 2 data centers that are within the city of Detroit's borders.
Okay. All right, thank you. Do you all utilize AI with any of the data that you have stored?
Currently, no, we don't. The city of Detroit is working on the AI. I'm sorry, I'm not saying through the chair, but through the chair, the city of Detroit is working on AI policy right now to start looking at how AI can benefit the citizens of Detroit as well as the employees of Detroit.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Is there a motion?
I already made the motion.
Yes, there was a motion to approve line item 6.9. Any objections? Hearing none, that action shall be taken. Mr. Millender, you can stay seated, I'm sure. Line item 6.10 is contract number 6005784-A2, 100% ARPA funding, amendment number 2 to provide an extension of time for generators at 11 radio tower sites. Contractor Motor City Electric Technologies. Contract period through June 30th, 2026. Contract increase amount $0. Total contract amount $1,427,745. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
Thank you. And I know I sent this question in. I'm trying to read through the answer, but I'll just ask you while you're here. Can you just speak to why we're providing generators for these sites?
These sites right now are tower sites for the City of Detroit's 800 megahertz radio system. As you're aware, multiple city departments use that system, as well as our public safety entities. So we're doing that at these sites because we have to keep them running. The power failure, anything like a power failure, anything that will occur around the City of Detroit. I mean, it's crucial infrastructure into how we provide public safety services to our citizens as well as our visitors.
And how are the radio sites used by the city?
Because our police, our 800 megahertz radio, every police officer has a prep radio, or our cars have consulates or something like that. That's how we dispatch as well as that. And that's just for public safety. Our water department and other entities actually use the radio system to provide communications.
So these sites are essentially spread throughout the city to ensure they have the technology to communicate.
Right.
Okay. All right, thank you. Colleagues, is there a motion on line item 6.10?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.10 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.11, contract number 6006306-A3, 100% ARPA funding, amendment number 3, to provide an extension of time to remove and replace generator for Linden Data Center. Contractor, Motor City Electric. Contract period through March 31st, 2026. Contract increase amount $0. Total contract amount $814,022. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
Thank you, Member Waters. Can you speak to where we are with this? I remember this coming before us last year for an extension.
Through the chair, I'm happy to say this will be completed without a doubt by the end of this month. We're there now. We're actually running on the generator today. We're just doing some finalized testing and all that. And we actually run on, we have both of our generators up at our data center, and it'll be done by the end of this month. So I'm confident to say that right now. I'm happy to say that as well.
All right, thank you so much. Colleagues, is there a motion?
Approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.11 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. And line item 6.12, contract number 6007389, 100% city funding, to provide a hybrid on-site, off-site mailroom solution. Contractor, Wolverine Solutions Group. Contract period upon city council approval for 3 years. Total contract amount $1,738,578. Colleagues, is there a motion to approve or discuss?
Discussion.
Discussion, Member Waters.
1 second, through the chair, if you don't mind, can I bring my
Sledge.
colleague to the table?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
ma'am.
I cut you off by mistake, but through the chair, I'm sorry.
I have his name here, so no worries.
I am so sorry,
Mr.
Member
Brandon
Waters.
Sledge Mellon. Please.
Good afternoon, Brandon Sledge Mellon, Department of Innovation and Technology.
Thank you. I just want you to explain to the community what this actually means that Wolverine will be doing.
Yes, absolutely. So we currently operate a mailroom down in the basement. It requires staff, and it requires equipment, and it requires metering the mail. So basically, anytime the city needs to send something out, we have a mailroom that processes it, pays the postage, and sends it out. What this contract would be doing is actually moving from the current contractor that we have, which is Excella Technologies, and moving it to a Detroit-based business, Wolverine Solutions Group.
Yeah, it says it talks about on-site, off-site. You know, I just wanted to make sure that we fully understood exactly what Wolverine would be doing. Okay.
Yes, and through the chair. So we currently operate the mailroom Within KMAG, it's down in the basement.
On the basement.
Right, and so what we would be doing with this contract over the next 3 years is transitioning it to off-site, so we wouldn't have the overhead of managing it ourselves.
Oh, is that going to result in loss of jobs here?
No, because the jobs that are provided via this contract are contractors. They're contracted staffers. They're not city jobs. We don't have a city job for this.
Oh, okay. All right. That's it for me, Madam Chair.
Any additional questions, Member Callaway?
Okay, so if we're moving our mailing operations from this site, how does the mail from this site get to another site? Is there pickup? Is there transport? Are there additional fees for that? I'm not understanding what we're doing.
Yes, through the chair. Yes, that is what happens today. We meter the mail, so we pay the postage. So we have machines. We load money onto the machines, and then we pay the postage. And it basically happens in bulk, and then we pay a courier service to come and pick up the mail. So basically, what this would be doing is it's the same operation and the same cost, but it's moving it to a Detroit-based business as opposed to this. The previous vendor is based in Troy, and they were actually acquired by a European company, and they want to change some of the fees and the rates, so we put it back out to bid. The highest qualified happened to be a Detroit-based business, and it was awarded. So, yeah, we're trying to move off of that and have some consistency here and be able to give them the business.
Yeah, well, through the chair, we're always happy when we can support Detroit-based businesses, which means more than likely they are hiring or employing Detroiters.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's not always the case. We send a lot of our business. And I was asking myself through the chair, not that you all can answer this, but I was just pondering this thought. We send a lot of business to Livonia, Dearborn, and Troy and other suburban areas. So we are helping to gird up, embellish, help, support their the economic states of their cities. Then I asked myself, are there any Detroit businesses doing business in Livonia? Not that you can answer, that's just a question that I'm just saying out loud. Are there any, because we know the percentage of African Americans living in Dearborn is about 3%. And we gave them a nice sizable contract. I did not, on Tuesday. And I just pondered, just thinking out loud, do we ever have minority-owned businesses, black-owned businesses based in Detroit doing business in Dearborn and Livonia? Probably not. But we are so quick and comfortable with extending that courtesy to them because they have the capacity, they have the resources and the experience. I get it. But that was just thinking out loud. So thank you for bringing a business from Troy to Detroit, where I know they will hire Detroiters. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, gentlemen, and I am hopeful that this will move our mail a lot quicker than it does today. It takes a long time to get mail in this building, so I didn't realize the current vendor was not in the city of Detroit, so hopefully this expedites the mail process as well. All right, colleagues, is there a motion on line item 6.12? There's a motion to send line item 6.12 to formal with recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken.
Through the chair, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to line item 6.13. Line item 6.13 is a settlement request in lawsuit of Lake Peoples versus City of Detroit, case number 23-008-106-NI. This is for the fire department in the amount of $25,000. Is there a motion? There's a motion to send line item 6.13 to formal with recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.14 is a settlement request and lawsuit of Anthony Collins versus City of Detroit and Ariana Nicole Smith, case number 24-007889-NI. This is in the amount of $65,000. Is there a motion?
Motion to discuss.
Discussion, Member Callaway.
Do we have any, through the chair, do we have anyone on from DPD? Would like to know about the driver's responsibility. We've been talking about that since 2022. I think a program was implemented. Just kind of want to know if we're making any progress. Because some of these cases that we're seeing with some of our police officers, Madam Chair, and to my colleague, Member Waters, you all know we have to read through. I don't know how you can back into a car and then, you know, not look in your rearview mirrors and you are a police officer or you're running red lights or in this type of situation. So, you know, not trying to say I'm not going to support it because it's the right thing to do to settle, but is there anyone on from DPD like to know whether or not the driver's responsibility program is working?
Mr. Washington?
Good morning, through the chair. We do have Patrick Emery from DPD online.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Mr. Emery has been promoted to panelist.
Thank you.
Good morning, Patrick Emery, Executive Manager, Risk Management, Detroit Police Department. I do not have specific figures for the success of that program in front of me. I can definitely get those over to you guys and submit those.
Through the chair to yourself, when might that happen?
I should be able to have that submitted by the end of this week.
Okay, so Madam Chair, I'm going to make a motion to bring this back pending that report. And also, I'm glad through the chair to yourself, sir, nobody was killed because it looks like the police officer was driving at it says right here, at a high rate of speed and ran into a back of a vehicle. So this is a good settlement, but I would like to see how successful the driver's responsibility program is working since I requested that to be implemented, I think, in 2023, because these cases, we receive these type of settlements in cases on a regular basis here in internal operations. So just want to see how successful it's been and whether or not this particular police officer will be taking that course. So that's my motion, pending the report from Mr. Emery?
Yes, Mr. Emery.
Mr. Emery, pending the receipt of his report, Madam Chair, I would ask that we bring this back in 1 week.
There's a motion to bring line item 6.14 back in 1 week. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Thank you. Line item 6.15 is a settlement request and lawsuit of David Gross versus City of Detroit and Christina Messina, case number 24-004781-NI. This is for the police department in the amount of $32,500. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.15 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.16 is a settlement request and lawsuit of Curtis Rogers versus City of Detroit General Services Department, file number 14755, in the amount of $24,900. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.16 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.17 is a settlement request and lawsuit of Paul Trent versus City of Detroit, case number 23-014799-NI. This is for the Department of Transportation in the amount of $20,000. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.17 to formal with recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Without objection, I'd like to combine line item 6.18 through 6.20. These are lawsuit settlement requests for various third-party providers. Line item 6.18 is for a specialty medical center in the amount of $18,000 with the Department of Transportation. Line item 6.19 is for Warriors Pharmacy in the amount of $6,500. This is also for the Department of Transportation. And line item 6.20 is for Van Dyke Spinal Rehabilitation Center in the amount of $8,048.63 for the Department of Transportation. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line items 6.18 through 6.20 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, those actions shall be taken. Without objection, I'd like to combine line items 6.21, 6.22, and 6.24. These are similar situations. Line item 6.21 is a settlement request in lawsuit of International Outdoor Inc. versus the City of Detroit. Line item 6.22 is Outfront Media. And line item 6.24 is Lamar Advertising of Michigan, Inc. Is there a motion to approve or discuss?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.21, 6.22, and 6.24 to formal with recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, those actions shall be taken. Line item 6.23 is a settlement request in lawsuit of Level 1 Physical Therapy versus City of Detroit, case number 24-008-033-NF in the amount of $15,000. This is for the Department of Transportation. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.23 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.25 is a request for legal representation and indemnification, case number 24-017046-CZ. This is for the Police Department. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.25 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.26 is a request for legal representation and indemnification for attorney Victor Monsive. This is for the Law Department. Colleagues, is there a motion? There's a motion to send line item 6.26 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. And Madam Clerk, you heard the motion.
I heard the motion, but through the chair, if the mic is on, it'll be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Line item 6.27. Without objection, I'd like to combine line item 6.27, 6.28, and 6.32. Line item 6.27 is a request for legal representation and indemnification for police officer Felicia Manning Peoples in lawsuit of Montez Kennedy versus Samuel Fields et al., case number 23-CV-11949. This is for the police department. Line item 6.28 is a request for R&I for police officer Henry Simmons III. And line item 6.32 is a request for R&I for police officer Willie Johnson. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line items 6.27, 6.28, and 6.32 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, those actions shall be taken. Line item 6.29 is a request for legal representation and indemnification for police officer Kelly Larson in lawsuit of Robert Pizzamenti versus City of Detroit et al., case number 25-CV-11506. This is for the police department.
Motion, Madam Chair.
There's a motion to send line item 6.29 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.30 is a request for legal representation and indemnification for police officer Latarian Bell in lawsuit of Ashley Looper versus City of Detroit et al. This is for the police department. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve, Madam Chair.
There's a motion to send line item 6.30 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.31 is a request for legal representation and indemnification for Thomas Jones in lawsuit of Christopher Williams versus Thomas Jones et al. This is for the police department. Colleagues, is there a motion to bring line item 6.31 back for a date to be determined for the scheduling of a closed session?
Motion, Madam Chair.
Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.33. Line item 6.33 is a request for legal representation and indemnification for Environmental Control Inspector Lucretia Noel in lawsuit of Derek Kane versus City of Detroit, case number 25-CV-10797. This is for the building department. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve, Madam Chair.
There's a motion to send line item 6.33 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.34 is submitting resolution authorization to submit a grant application to the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan for the fiscal year 2026 Michigan Justice Innovation and Workforce Development Grant. This is for Project Clean Slate. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve, Madam Chair.
There's a motion to send line item 6.34 to formal with recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.35 is a request to amend the 2025 through 2026 official compensation schedule for the detention facility officer, male prisoner, and female prisoner, as well as senior detention facility officers for both male and female. Colleagues, is there a motion to discuss?
Motion, Madam Chair.
Discussion. I see DC Bliss is here. I just wanted to entertain him since he was here and he sat here for all morning. I do actually have a question.
Good afternoon, Deputy Chief Mark Bliss, Detroit Police Department, Crime Strategies Bureau.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. The question that I had, I do recall when the transition happened between the state and the city, there was, I believe someone came down to public comment and mentioned the salaries of the individuals, I believe, that were being paid by the state being higher than what the Detroit Police Department was able to pay for the detention center, the detention facility officers. Is this now in alignment with what the prior officers were making for the detention facility staff that's on site at the facility?
Through the chair, this is actually having a detention facility officer and an MDOC person, which is a corrections officers. Those are two different classifications in regards to what they do. One runs a jail. We run a detention facility. Our is a holding facility for about 72 hours. But to your question, it does raise their salary, but a corrections officer for MDOC starts at around 48 and tops out around 73.
Okay, so their top end is still a bit higher than this range currently. Okay. All right, thank you. Colleagues, any questions, comments, concerns? All right, seeing none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.35 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken.
Thank you.
Thank you. Line item 6.36 is a request to implement the 2024 through 2028 labor agreement between the City of Detroit and the employees represented by the supervisors, chapter of the DOT Foremen's Association. That is the Department of Transportation. This is for both the Department of Transportation and the Detroit Fire Department. Colleagues, is there a motion to approve or discuss?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to send line item 6.36 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.37, submitting report relative to a memo regarding the interim suspension of Guyanga and Brian McKinney.
Motion to receive and file.
There's a motion to receive and file line item 6.37. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.38 is a resolution creating the Domestic Violence and Exploitation Task Force. Is there a motion to approve or discuss?
Motion to approve, Madam Chair.
There's a motion to send line item 6.38 to formal with a recommendation to approve. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Line item 6.39, Councilmember Gabriela Santiago Romero submitting memorandum relative to request to release 2 confidential memo responses. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
Discussion. To the Law Department, LPD.
To the chair, Philip Keller, Legislative Policy Division. We have 2 weeks to draft this resolution.
There is a request for a 2-week bring back. There's a motion to bring line item 6.39 back in 2 weeks. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. That brings us now to member reports. Member Vice Chair Waters.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. So this Friday, started at 5 p.m. It's our annual Harvest Fest, which is going to be so for family and children. It's going to be at the Velodrome on Mac and I-75. So generally we have a couple thousand families, people to come through. So I want to extend an invitation for those that are listening, and some children that are interested to come through, and it's a safe environment for them to come by and grab candy and toys and so forth. And so that's this Friday, 5 p.m. I don't think I'm saying that right. The Velodrome. I think there's another name to it. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. 70 Mac and I-75. All right. So the other thing is I want to just read a statement for our Chief Bedison. I want to commend Detroit Police Chief Bedison for taking immediate action. When Chief Bedison reviewed video of a Detroit police officer's conduct toward a woman that was shot and literally faced death after cooperating with police. Thank you, Chief Bedison. Chief, with his profoundly swift action, has served notice that police misconduct will not be tolerated on Bedison's watch. Detroit Police Chief Todd Bedison said an officer violated several department policies when he shot a woman 6 times following a traffic stop on Sunday, October 26th. The cop violated several policies, Bedison said, and found body camera footage of the incident to be concerning. The woman survived the shooting and won't be charged with a crime. Bedison wants the officer who shot her to be suspended without pay. Detroit Police Chief Todd Bedison said an officer violated several department policies when he shot a woman 6 times, injuring her following a traffic stop on Sunday, October 26. The chief is now asking the Detroit Board of Police Commissioners to suspend the officer immediately without pay. I just wanted to emphasize that, and I want to say thanks to Chief Bedison for his swift actions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And Member Waters, did you want to request that a resolution be drafted in support of his request?
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. Motion.
There's a motion to request the LPD draft a resolution in support of the suspending the officer without pay. Hearing no objections, that action shall be taken. Look at EPU over there. Look at. Oh. Member Callaway.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for that, Member Waters. Upcoming community events in District 2, Sinai Grace Hospital invites all community members and residents to this year's Trunk or Treat. It is today from 5 to 7 p.m., and it will be in the parking lot of the hospital at 6071 West Outer Drive. That is today from 5 to 7. Trunk or Treat, sponsored by Sinai Grace Hospital. Everybody's invited. You do not have to live in District 2 to have fun at the parking lot, on the parking lot for the Trunk and Treat at Sinai Grace. Next, District 2 City Council Community Relations Team will host its final office hours of this month tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Strategic Community Partners located at 10240 West McNichols Road. Stop by to share your concerns, ask questions, and learn more about the work that my team and I do in our community. So that is tomorrow at Strategic Community Partners located at 10240 West McNichols Road, and it is our final community relations office hours until next year. Tomorrow we'll be hosting our District 2 resident engagement meeting to discuss the WNBA and the Detroit City Football Club developments. The meeting will begin at 4:30 on Zoom. We invite all residents to join the conversation. Again, you don't have to live in District 2 to be a part of this conversation. You might have questions about these 2 wonderful new developments coming online. We're hoping if you have any questions, please join the Zoom call. We'll have all the players there on the phone, not the players, but we'll have all the folks who are involved with these developments on the call to answer any questions or concerns you're going to have. or you may have. So that is tomorrow, and that is 4:30 promptly on Zoom. You can call my office at 224-4535, or you can visit my Instagram at Angela for Detroit for more information. Lastly, the home property tax exemption, HOPE, application closes on November the 7th at 4:30 p.m. We are encouraging everyone, even if you don't think you qualify, you may qualify. That's what Mr. Marcus Twyman says, who represents District 2. You may qualify. So don't say you don't qualify until you find out that you don't or you do. So the application process closes on Friday, November the 7th. If you need assistance, please call 866-313-2520, or you can visit detroitmi.gov/hope. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I'm really excited. I'm about to head out for a groundbreaking in District 4. A lot of times there are development projects that come through us, but they don't always see the finish line. So it's good to see the continued interest in District 4 and in our neighborhoods. So heading over there to the Arthur Murray, what used to be the Arthur Murray Dance School, will now be residential apartments above ground and commercial retail on the ground floor. So it works, it happens. So just looking forward to that, and just looking forward to running around District 4 for Trunk or Treat at our 2 rec centers as well as our police precinct on Friday. So thank you all for your patience. If there is nothing else to come before us, without objection, we shall stand adjourned.